Valentine's Day is not all candy and roses for everyone. Intimate partner violence, sexual violence, and stalking are major public health concerns in the United States. Millions of Americans are affected each year, and Montana is no different than anywhere else in the country. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 women report experiencing physical violence from an intimate partner, and 1 in 4 say they've experienced severe physical violence. The same number of men also report experiencing physical violence, and around 15% report that violence to be severe. Here is a deeper look. In 2019, law enforcement responded to more than 4,000 cases of domestic violence across the state. That means a Montanan is beaten, abused, or strangled by a partner or family member every 2.5 hours and reports the incident. Chief Deputy Attorney General John Benyon says that's an alarming statistic, but only partially reflective on a systematic problem in our society.
We also know that it can be an underreported crime, so that there's folks out there that have experienced domestic violence, sexual violence, stalking, and things like that have not reported those crimes.
Domestic violence can happen to anyone, no matter where they live, their age, their gender, or their economic status.
And we want to make sure that no matter what the circumstances, that people report those crimes because there are services available.
Detective Kent Anderson with the Helena Police Department regularly investigates domestic violence cases and says while it might seem like an easy thing to report being abused, domestic violence situations are often very complicated and no two are alike.
We'll be working on an investigation, and the victim in that case will actually recant or take back the statement that they gave. That's very common. Say a stay-at-home mother, and pretty soon you take the husband and father out of that home and there's no income and things like that.
Violence is more likely to occur when someone tries to leave an abusive relationship.
The most dangerous time for somebody who's being victimized by domestic violence is when they leave.
The Friendship Center offers support services for dozens of families affected by domestic violence.
We're constantly full here. We often have about 30 people here in shelter. We serve a lot of people outside of shelter too. The numbers are pretty staggering about what we're seeing, but I like to see that as a hopeful thing, that people are coming forward, they're getting help, they're seeking services.
The Friendship Center also provides education to schools and just last year spoke to 12,000 students about healthy relationships and consent. X says one of the best ways to help stop domestic violence is talking about it openly and letting people know there are resources available. If you or someone you know is a victim or a survivor of domestic violence, please know that help is available. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7, and advocates can provide assistance to victims and anyone calling on their behalf.